Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Salam alaikum, Your Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen. It is my firm belief that we in HR can change the world. Okay, maybe not bring world peace, but through what we do in our organizations, we can enable leaders to get the best from people. And those people will then perform at their best. They will be happy in their jobs, and they will deliver what the organization needs. For you in this room, it means that the hundreds and thousands of people that you have in your organizations, if we can unlock the true potential through being in HR to enable better leadership, we will create happy people. We will create successful teams. We will create successful organizations, which in the end will deliver better public service and create better societies. And the vast experience in this room is the power that we have. And I'm going to help you, not tell you things you need to do, but give you some ideas that will allow you to unleash the true experience that you have in ways that I don't even imagine. Because every single one of you will pick something to take away, to use, to go and make a real difference for your organizations. It is about helping your organizations reach the peak of performance and to then create a new dawn of success for your organizations and for our societies. It's about unleashing that 10% that every single leader has within them that we can get hold of so simply by just doing some really powerful things on a day-to-day basis. And we as HR can make that happen. Nobody else in the organization can do that. I want to get your perspectives as well. So I want to engage you through Slido, which means, yes, you have to get your mobile phones out, not to text, but I'd like you to point your mobile phones at the screen. And what should happen should be Slido should appear. I'm going to ask you some questions to get your feedback. And just to let you know that the code will be on each of the questions, just in case you miss it. Also, do not worry. You do not have to take pictures of the slides. At the end, I will show you how you can request the slides and I will get them sent to you. So, let's go. Some of you may have seen this. This is Dave Ulrich's human capability model. It is just a useful reflection of what HR needs to get done in organizations to enable those organizations to be truly effective. The only problem that we have, ladies and gentlemen, is that we, as HR, cannot do all of those things. A significant number of them have to be done by line managers out at the front line. And that is our fundamental challenge, turning what we need to have happen to create effective organizations into action. When I go around the world asking leaders what their challenges are, they say two things: too much work and not enough time. That's what's holding me back. So my perspective is that leaders have a workload, but actually too many of them have an overload. And that overload has massive impacts for our organization. Leaders feel like this, and that too much work, not enough time problem means that we are losing so much in terms of negative impact. We are potentially losing 30% of delivery effectiveness. We are potentially losing the fact that employee performance under 30% may be giving their best. That the retention of our best talent could be down by 50%. That overall organizational performance could be down by up to 25%. Think of that. And for those of you that are in commercial organizations, your profits could be 10% less than they should be. Now, I did a 6-month part-time neuroscience course and psychology course around leadership. And it's worth us in HR, particularly our more junior people who work with the front line to actually understand what is going on in line managers' heads. Because they have their own tasks to do. They also have to run the team. They also have to align to strategic objectives where at all possible. And in addition to that, life gives you unexpected dramas. And then of course they're people. So they're worried about what's happening at home, and the car needs to be repaired and all the rest of that. So all of these things are going on in their head, and there is a limiting point to what our brains can process. And then suddenly, on top of that, along comes HR and says, can you do some more stuff? Now our brains are programmed to focus on what gives us most value. And I ask you to think about, of those things, which do you think the line manager's brain say gives them most value? And this is why we get into that sort of position, where we have difficulty getting things done. And I've thought about how we can make a difference to this. You see, the reason we have this too much work and not enough time problem is, to use a British expression, there is an elephant in the room that nobody is acknowledging is in the room. And it is simply this, that 80% of leaders, from my experience and research studies, have not been given the fundamental leadership capability they need to the depth they need to be fully effective. Yes, they're getting through. Yes, they're learning by trial and error, but they are not optimizing. If we can unleash that extra 10% by optimizing how leaders perform day to day, we will ride the wave of success. And that's what I want to try and talk about and show you how we can do that. In terms of HR then, what am I saying? I'm saying, look, they have all of these things going on in their heads. And they're saying, okay, what am I going to do about it? And I'm going to propose that what we do is, we in HR, through enabling them to be better leaders, say, I tell you what, we will help you do all of those things more effectively, so that you get better return on investment for your time, so that you potentially get promoted, so that you potentially have an easier life. And at the same time they're doing that, because they feel happy about it, they are developing human capability for us as well. And that seems like a pretty good option, to do both. I have spent years looking at why organizations aren't working. And in my dim and distant past, I was in the military, so I looked at how effective organizations can be. So I created this roadmap for leaders to enable them to understand what they need to be doing, and also for chief executives to understand how to take their organizations forward. It is quite simply 6 steps that have to be completed. 1, the optimization of task delivery to give leaders more time. That then allows leaders to get the best from people using that time. They then focus that best onto strategic objectives. That then gets the business as usual element to excellence level. When that's happening, that's not enough, because we need to move forwards. We need to build future organizations. And that's by then growing entrepreneurial leaders who are looking for innovation and the future. Because they seize opportunity for us. They seize those opportunities that then builds the organization of the future. And that is a 6-step roadmap that I've used that really has impact. And I want to take us through this. The roadmap does not replace the vision. It does not replace the strategy. It does not replace the operational plans. What it does is it gives leaders a framework within which they can think about, what should I be doing? Department heads, what should I be doing? I should be doing those 6 steps, and also at C-suite. Because Accelerate Your Success roadmap is the engine and the power to make those things happen. So operational plans happen. Strategy then happens, and vision is then delivered. So let's just look at some examples of this. Optimization of task delivery. The really simple things that I know there are shortfalls in, and all the evidence suggests. Prioritization, time management and planning, delegation, communication and giving feedback. Yes, leaders are doing them, but are they optimizing them? And I want to focus in on one, delegation. I want to ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. Have you ever been taught how to delegate effectively at any point in your career? Please go into Slido and give me your results. Okay, the result is really interesting because actually to some degree what it reflects is there are regional differences. So your percentage of people who have is higher than in most Western countries. In most Western countries it's only 25 to 30%. But if we look at what we have there, we still have 41% who have not been taught to delegate day to day. Does that make a difference? In simple terms, yes, it does. So for those of you, I'm going to try an experiment. For those of you that have not been taught to delegate, let's try this little experiment of trying to find you some more time. What I want you to do is I want you to think about 1 or 2 jobs that you do on a regular basis, or 3 jobs. Think about those jobs, and could you delegate any of those to a member of your team? If you could, how much time would it save you per week? And if you have more than 1 job, total up the time. So 1 or 2 jobs, could you delegate? How much time would you save if you did? And then put the result into Slido. And let's see if we can just save you a little bit of time. There's some great time savings beginning to appear, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, if you can't delegate, don't worry. That's fine. If you can't delegate, you're probably doing a good job. So, okay, I just wanted to make a point. If you look at those figures, okay, from you as an audience, we have got, 12% of you have got 8 hours more time. You can take a day off. But I think the practical point is for you as senior leaders, if you think about this, in 3 minutes, by doing that, we have saved you as a group those time savings. Again, it's a consistent answer I get, effectively half a working day a week in a 3-minute exercise. Just think of the impact if every single leader in your organization had done the same exercise and had found that much time. Think about that extra time, not just for 1 week, but for every single week from now on. Now, how is that for return on investment for your time, ladies and gentlemen? 3 minutes, that time saving, you can use from now on by delegating those tasks. And then leaders can then be encouraged to use that time to get the best from people. Now, this is a quote I give. Pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. And the question is, that's modern employee engagement. But it's not, because it wasn't said now. It was said 2,500 years ago by Aristotle, that pleasure in the job puts perfection in the work. So the reality of how we get the best from people through our leaders to deliver public service is actually a simple principle that is about our humanity. Not about where we are now in time, not about who we work for, not about the job we do. It is about our humanity. And one of the things that I focus in on about our humanity is that leaders need us to help them understand that when they say to people, hey, we're going to do a transformation, yes, we're going to make the world great through this transformation, we're going to improve this service, leaders make the assumption that everybody thinks it's a good idea. You know as well as I do, they don't all think it's a good idea. There are three groups of people. The people who do say, oh yeah, it's a good idea, let's make it happen. 16, 15%. But there's that big group in the middle of nearly 70% who say, I have seen this before. I will just wait and see what happens. And then there are those who don't want to join in. The problem is that unless we get the first group to about 25%, we cannot be sure that we're going to make it happen. And that is the tipping point for major transformations that I've experienced. But I want to throw that back to you now. I want you to think in terms of how we move that curve. I want you to think of a time in your career when you were truly inspired to go to work. Because when you got to work, you had an inspiring boss. What I want you to do is, I want you to tell me, through Slido, what did that boss do day to day that was so special? Simple day-to-day actions that they did that made them special. Brilliant, yes. Praise and recognition, empowered, showing you're grateful, empathy, clear direction. I'm sorry, my Arabic is not sufficiently good to understand. What does the one in Arabic say?
Simplify work.
Sorry?
Simplify work.
Simplify work, thank you. Okay, yes. And if you look at those things on that list, they made you give super performance. All of you in this room. And we keep getting the same words because the size of the words links to how many people said it. All of those things, trust, empowerment, inspiration, praise and recognition. And what actually you are doing, ladies and gentlemen, you are creating your own list of things we know get super performance from people because they got super performance from you. You are creating a list of actions that any leader can take anywhere at any time to get the best from another human being. This is a list of success actions. And if we can focus our leaders on these simple actions to do more of them, we will be more successful. And I will make sure that that is in the slide pack, because this is a list of success. I knew what you were going to say, because I have asked this same question over 15 years to 30,000 leaders. And this is the summary of the answers. Pretty much the same as you ask for ideas, recognition, trust, empowerment, listen to me, show they cared about me. The amazing thing is, it is always the same list, because it is about our humanity. And the power of these things is staggering. Just showing how people contribute to the big picture can produce 32% more effort. Accurate feedback, 39%. Just showing you care, 26%. And for us in HR, it reduces the risk of talent loss by 87%. Overall, if leaders do these things, we can get 30% more effort from 60% of people. And we have proven impact across every single organisational area you could imagine, just by those simple things. I put these things in place with a construction company. Within 2 years, the empowerment KPI, I would recommend this as a great place to work for friends or family, went from 40% to 82%. Error rates went down, profits went up. Just by the things on your list. How does it work? Human psychology. If you do something I view as positive, I will respond positively. You then respond positively back. It's powered by serotonin and cortisol. It is bound to work. And then inside our brains, if your leaders are doing these things, what is happening in employees' brains? What is happening in employees' brains is this. New neural connections are being created. Your leaders have created an environment where people's brains are actually going faster. They are actually growing because of the inspiration they're having. It grows capability. It grows creativity. It enables trust and commitment to build. It means they learn faster from mistakes. It means they grow belief, and it builds a growth mindset. What does that do? It moves our curve. It moves our curve till we're past the tipping point, and it creates another group of people who we can pull in very quickly to get us critical mass. So we solve the problem. They are happy getting what they want, the line managers. We are happy because we're getting human capability built. And then we inspire them further with the big picture. We inspire them by showing them through their leaders where we're going. Aligning effort, building understanding, breaking down silos, enhancing adaptation, improving efficiency, and creating one seamless, powerful organisation. And then we have the time to create entrepreneurial leaders, as we did at UBS. And I'll talk more about entrepreneurial HR tomorrow. It creates an amazing we, not me, we can culture. That's what you want. So if you can utilize these ideas for your leaders, you'll get these benefits. Half a working day a week, 30% more effort from 60% of people, breaking down silos, better performance, client service and customer service, innovation, and all of those things. But the point is, your leaders already are doing these things. They just need to focus in on the ones that make a difference and do more of them. It works because we're human. It doesn't cost anything. And you can do more of it tomorrow. And it enables us to make HR work. So, question. You've seen a lot there very quickly. What are you potentially going to take away and go and do that will make a real difference? One action that you can now do that will make you enhance the performance of your people. Yes, I thought that one might come up. Great things there. Yep, superb. Brilliant stuff. Take those and utilize them. If you want to learn more, you can go into Slido and you can see top left, there are 3 buttons. If you click on those 3 buttons, it will take you to somewhere on my website where you can ask for the slides. Go there and it will happen. I just want to finish off by showing you something that is about true leadership pulled together, where when leaders are working together, it enables people to work together. This is something I did. This is 700 people doing something in perfect harmony. Every one person is doing something different. That was Royal Military Academy Sandhurst passing out parade. That is not just about the UK. That is about the UAE just as much, as you well know. This is a recent person who passed out. and somebody special attended his passing out parade. And somebody who inspected a passing out parade, I learned to drive a tank with many, many years ago, His Majesty King Abdullah. The point about this is that the motto of the Royal Military Academy Sandhurst is serve to lead, servant leadership. And that is what your leaders and you as public servants believe in, serve to lead. You are there to serve the citizens and to lead your people so that they can serve their citizens. And if you think about your best boss was doing serve to lead, servant leadership. And if you think about what we in HR do, we do serve to lead. We serve our organisations so that they can lead the people to deliver what we need. And it is so powerful. Think of HR as serve to lead. And there are two fundamental questions that are asked of leaders. When I left that establishment, a senior sergeant major said to me on the last night, "Remember this, sir. Whenever you get to where you're going and you see your first group of soldiers, you will have questions about them. They have questions about you, but they only have two. And the two questions are this: does he know what he's doing? And do I trust him?" And he said, if you get two yeses, I promise you those soldiers will work hard for you, they will go through hell for you, and if necessary, they will die for you. Now, in your organisations, I am hoping that the last one is not required of your employees. But in HR, we have the ability to get leaders to answer those two questions, yes. And they need to get the best from people for the best public services. Those two fundamental questions: do our leaders know what they're doing, and do we trust them? And if you can get those two yeses, you will take your organisation to peak performance. You will create a new dawn for your leaders, your teams, your organisation and your societies. And HR will then become a true catalyst for better public services across the GCC. Thank you for your time.